Hey guys, this is Jennifer and welcome back to my channel. This is one of those videos that I'm very late making. This is January the 31st and I am just now getting to you with my, we're gonna call it first semester, January through May Bible study plans. And I say that because I honestly don't know what I'm going to be studying and working on after May. So I think it's going to be easier for me to break up these videos in terms of semesters. So I think about it like a school semester. January through May would be spring. Then you've got June and July for the summer. And then we're going to kick back off in August and do August through December. So let's start off with this one. This is the 12 Daring Women of the Bible. This is a Lifeway study. I bought this off of Amazon. And this does have the 12 session Bible study guide and the video access. So I'm very excited about that. I will be facilitating and teaching this class on Wednesdays at church for my Wednesday night ladies group. And I love that group. I love that group. And I'm so thankful for that group of ladies that God has put in my life. And I'm also learning how to be a better teacher and facilitator for them. So the 12 daring women that we have in this study include the Shulamite woman, Deborah, the Proverbs 31 woman, Ruth, Puah and Shiphrah, Esther, Priscilla, Mary and Martha, the bent woman, the woman with the issue of blood, Elizabeth, and Anna. So session 1, you're going to start with the Shulamite woman, which is from Song of Solomon. So there you go. You have a little bit of introduction material. Then you have some group information. And then the group information would be when you watch the video. And then you have your personal study. So this is 5 days of personal study. Actually, it's not even 5 days. It's just a small amount of personal study between your actual class times. So then there's Deborah. You've got meeting Deborah. Watch the video and take notes. Then you've got some group discussion, closing prayer, personal study, more personal study, and then you get to the next one. So I'm super excited to work on this study, and I also have pulled other resources to use me and to aid me into leading this study. And I'm going to do a separate video because I can't wait to show you all the resources that I've pulled and that I've got available to use as additional resources for this study. So that is actually going to be a separate video that will be coming after this one. All right, the next study I'm doing is Community Bible Study. I have not heard of the Community Bible Study group until this year, actually. Well, maybe December of last year. So one of my friends is going to Community Bible Study at another church and invited me to go with her. And I said, absolutely, I will go with you. So I'm not doing a precept study this semester. I'm doing a Community Bible Study, and it's the Book of Psalms. So I really like the Book of Psalms. This is volume 2. So let me just show you some of the setup. In this study, let me get to a completely blank one. Okay, so like lesson 22, all of the Psalms are broken up and divided into themes per se. So for example, in lesson 22, the theme is the steadfast love of the Lord. The Psalms that we will be studying in this lesson are Psalms 36, 103, 107, and 136. So you have a little bit of a little description here. Then you have a memory verse. And then you start reading your Psalms and answering the questions. So this format was not a study format that I'm used to. We meet in a small group to go over the questions and the answers. And then we go to a large group where we have a speaker that offers additional teaching on that. And then we're done for the week. So it's about an hour and a half that we're at the church going through the material. So if I'm taking notes during the large group speaker time, this is where I would take those notes. And then I like how they give you additional commentary that you can read where you can gain additional insight on your studies for that week. So that is Community Bible Study. Again, the book of Psalms, super excited about going through the Psalms. They did this because this is volume 2. I did not have a chance or an opportunity to go through volume 1, which I believe started in August of 2025. So volume 2 going January through May of 2026. Let me show you this. This is the prayer calendar from the Daily Grace Co. This is the 2026 edition. This prayer calendar is a little bit updated. Over the format from the previous years. And I say that because if you are familiar with the Daily Grace Co., they brought out a liturgical calendar, church calendar, with a lot of information about the way the church calendars are set. And this has a lot more of that information in there. So if you open it up, you start out with the prayer calendar. You have reading plan, prayer goals, monthly prayer calendar, and end of month reflection. Here's the church seasons I was talking about. So in January, you still have the Christmas season as well as Epiphany. In February, you have Epiphany and Lent. In March, you have Lent. April is Lent and Easter. May is Easter and Pentecost. June, ordinary time. July, ordinary time. August, ordinary time. September and October, the same. November, ordinary time through November 28th. And then you have Advent that begins on November 29th. And I'll show you on the actual monthly calendars what that looks like. So I'm going to kind of skip ahead to February because this is January 31st. Tomorrow's February, so this is where I need to start working today after I finish my reflection and recap of January. So you have your digging deeper. You have a try this. And what this is prayer goals. What can you do to aid you and assist you in praying? Let's get rid of distractions. Put your phone on silent. Set a timer and try to be still before the Lord before the timer goes off. Sit in a comfortable position. Then you have dates to remember. You have your February calendar and you have holidays. In this section, you have a place to journal the plans to grow in prayer this month. And then you also have a place to journal what you're praying for specifically for this month. Here is your February 2026 monthly overview calendar. And again, this is where you see that church calendar, the liturgical calendar. So the green is the season of Epiphany. This purple, deep purple, is the season of Lent. And then on each week, the Monday through Friday, you have very specific prayer prompts. And then at the beginning of each week, you have weekly verses to focus on. And you can use these as memory verses if you want to. And then we go back to your month-end reflection. So I'm not going to show you what I've written in January because that's a little bit personal, but here is what it's going to look like for February. So if you're not familiar with the prayer calendar from Daily Grace Co., this is what it looks like. This is the 2026 edition. All right, so let's talk about a few of the Bibles that I'm using for this year. We're going to start out with the ESV single column journaling Bible. I have showed this one in the past, and this is one that I'm actually trying to get into more. So I've added some tip-ins, like this is the feast, Old Testament feast right here. This is where I did some journaling in Psalm 51. I've highlighted, I've broken these out. And then I've got a note page tipped in. And then I do have some of the introductions to the book from, I still call her How to Faith a Life, but Faith Womack with Bible Nerd Ministries. So this is the front, and then I have taken notes on the back, and I still need to finish adding all of my notes for Philemon, but this is my Philemon, where I've started in Philemon, so I do need to work on that. All right, so let me move that one aside. This is my MacArthur Study Bible. It doesn't look like a cover you've ever seen because I have recovered it. But here is the MacArthur Study Bible. This is the first edition, the original one, I guess you could call it. This one was released in 2006. And this is the one I'm taking with me and I'm using as I go through my community Bible study and Psalms. And I'm actually also using my ESV as a cross-reference just to get the ESV version of the verses. And then because I have the study notes, I also do refer to the study notes at the bottom. So that is my MacArthur Study Bible. And then this little Bible that you all have gone crazy for if you have watched my Loaded Bible video from last week. This is the NLT Compact Giant Print with the filament. This is the one I'm making my Loaded Bible, so you will see tip-ins in here. I've got stickers, several things that I have added in. And then I'm working in Psalms 119, so I have been highlighting verses and starting some notes in Psalm 119. And I'm going to do an intro page that I'm going to tip in that tells me general information about Psalm 119. But this is the NLT edition, so I actually am using this to read alongside with my other Bibles just to get a different translation. And then because it's filament enabled, I scan that at the top of the page, and then I get the study resources and helps at the for the page that I'm studying, which I love the filament. I'm also going to be going back through Psalm 51 and making my Psalm 51 notes in this Bible like I had in my ESV Bible. So that is something, this is a work in progress. This is just something I'm going to continually be working on. So this is my compact giant print NLT Bible. This is going to be my quote-unquote loaded Bible. And again, work in progress. Stay tuned. You will continually see updates on this. And then let's talk about scripture writing. I have never done scripture writing before this year, so I'm actually just using a 3-ring binder. And I printed out just a scripture writing plan. This one is from By the Will for God. This is my January one. And it is set apart for his purpose, and it is broken down into different sections. And I am just writing the scriptures out. This is something I've actually enjoyed really doing a lot. I still have to do today's. And then I did go ahead and print this February plan. Loved receiving God's love and reflecting it to others. Again, broken down into different weeks. This one I printed from the Sister Rita Club off of Facebook. This was one of the downloads. You can find scripture writing plans anywhere. Like they're all over Pinterest. There's different Facebook groups that have scripture writing plans. Obviously, February, Valentine's Day is in February, so I wanted to keep the theme of love. So again, I printed this from the Sister Rita Club off of Facebook. So that is my scripture writing plan. I'm also going to another class on Sunday nights at my church. And the topic is spiritual warfare, but we are going to be going through this book, Your Story Has a Villain by Jonathan Pokluda. So sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly, but this is spiritual warfare. And I have already been reading and taking notes. They actually started this book last semester, and I was facilitating and teaching another book, so I'm jumping in halfway. We meet tomorrow for the first time, so I just have a little bit more reading to catch up with where we're going to be. I think it looks like, just one more chapter. So easy read, but really good book. And that is what I am doing for this first semester of 2026. I will be doing other studies throughout the year. So like I said, it is just much easier for me to pick and do this video based on my semesters. That's just the easy thing for me to do. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. I hope you found it informational. I will be pulling other resources at some point in, but again, stay tuned because I have a lot of great resources that I'm going to be pulling for this study. So be on the lookout for it. And let me know, have you ever done a community Bible study before? Have you heard of community Bible study? Let me know your thoughts on it. I would greatly appreciate it, as I'm still very much new to this one. It is a multi-denominational study. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the book of Psalms and just going through the Psalms slowly. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you guys have a great day. Bye-bye.